The universe is moving along a path driven by non-physical harmony. 1. The universe has no beginning or end. The Earth orbits the Sun, and the Sun orbits the galaxy. Furthermore, the galaxy moves in a certain direction. Yet this movement cannot be explained. This movement is neither explained by the expansion of space, nor by general relativity. While it is closer to the force of universal gravitation, it involves the Earth, the Sun, and the galaxy, and cannot be explained by current physical theories. It can be viewed as a nearly infinite many-body problem. If we look at the entire galaxy, including the Sun, intuitively, the galaxy appears to be moving in a spiral motion, rotating around its center. In contrast, the theory of cosmic inflation assumes that matter moves in a linear manner, which is quite different from the actual state of the universe. Because the Earth follows the Sun in an elliptical orbit, it accelerates and decelerates according to the law of area velocity constant. The Sun also speeds up and slows down, because it orbits the Milky Way in an elliptical orbit. Galaxies, too, are said to move in a certain direction. But all matters in the universe can move in elliptical orbits, because the law of constant area velocity applies. Galaxies are not moving toward a certain point, but rather follow elliptical orbits centered around a certain point. Therefore, their speeds would speed up and slow down. Furthermore, the movement of comets, which follow elongated elliptical paths around the Sun, cannot be explained by general relativity or universal gravitation. Instead, they can be explained by the law of constant area velocity. When observing the distant universe through a telescope, it is impossible to tell whether galaxies move in a curved or straight line. Current physics assumes that the universe moves in a straight line and explains it. However, even in the nearby universe, linear motion is not observed. Celestial bodies move in circular motion according to the law of constant area velocity, accelerating and slowing down to maintain overall balance. They move like a living, breathing universe, in constant, moment-to-moment harmony. Therefore, the debate among physicists about whether the universe is expanding at an accelerated or decelerated rate is far removed from the actual state of the universe. The universe operates not through the concentration of force, but through the dispersion of light, which is the dispersion of force. Light spreads from bright to dark, never reflecting itself. However, physicists argue that energy emanates from darkness, and matter exists in darkness. This theory contradicts the direction of light. Since the space of the universe has no location, no form, and no boundaries, it cannot be calculated and is therefore non-physical. Its lack of boundaries gives it a spiritual meaning. It can be said to be something intangible that cannot be categorized. This implies that the universe is not driven by force, but rather by a non-physical harmony that transcends the physical. Therefore, life and matter do not arise by chance, or by heat death, as physicists claim. The world is like water, flowing from top to bottom, and light spreading from bright to dark. This means that nature never goes back to its original path, that it is always open. Nature does not return to the past or stand still. People inevitably seek a beginning and an end. But the universe is an ever-open world without a beginning or an end. Through circular motion, the universe creates a new world of gravity, a new universe. Therefore, the universe is not expanding but rather creating a new universe. As the Lord's will is in heaven, a new ecosystem appears on earth and in the universe. A new universe emerges beyond the world of inertia, a new world of gravity. The sun rises every morning. However, yesterday's sun is not the same as today's. The Earth does not follow the sun in a circular motion. Because the sun revolves around the Milky Way, it naturally spirals. It does not circle in place but always rises in a new place. Therefore, we do not know where we came from or where we are going. No matter how we think about time, whether it exists or does not flow, a new morning comes, and this is to prevent us from remaining stuck in yesterday. It is what moves everything from the old, closed world to the free, open world, and from entropy increase to entropy decrease, creating a new world. Due to the Earth's spiraling motion, entropy moves in a circular motion from increase to decrease, and thus, prevents it from remaining in the closed state. The past is a state of exhaustion of energy and information, so we cannot return to it. We cannot obtain our daily bread. Space and time interact. Space is open, so matter fluctuates and changes. Inertia prevents matter from moving backward, so time becomes irreversible, unable to go back into the past. From here, we must move into the unknown, making the future difficult to predict. As energy and information are exhausted, we reinterpret them to recharge with new energy and information. True daily bread means new and fresh food for the unknown. Nature does not follow the same path because that path is already exhausted of energy and information, preventing us from acquiring new things. That's why nature doesn't repeat the same thing, but creates new shapes and forms. By minimizing harm and maximizing benefits, the concentration of power, corruption, and absurdity are eliminated, and wounds and pain are healed. A new world is creatively created. This process is possible in an open world, and because space and time operate like two sides of a coin, infinite rotation, calm water, and the way humans accelerate. The difference between nature and human acceleration is that nature uses inertia to accelerate, while humans do not utilize inertia, but instead attempt to accelerate momentarily. Therefore, they cannot achieve sustained acceleration, but rather single bursts of acceleration. However, if we look at waves, the acceleration occurs as the calm water surface shrinks. As the waves diminish, the smaller area transforms into a calm water surface. This process doesn't end with a single wave. It enables infinite circular motion. Here, the calm water surface can be considered a kind of field of balance. Nature can begin anew by spontaneously achieving balance and harmony. Nature creates a balanced field through spontaneous harmony. Therefore, in Kepler's second law, the aerial velocity law, the aerial velocity can be considered the gravitational field. It is closely related to the r² portion of the law of universal gravitation. When r² is formalized, it becomes a square, and the forces of two substances are evenly distributed on this square. This is how the Earth can undergo its infinite orbit. In the microcosm, quantum fields, in electromagnetic waves, magnetic fields, and in the macrocosm, gravitational fields are necessary for continuous circular motion. Without the formation of fields, motion ceases and shutdowns occur. Nature spontaneously creates fields through harmony and balance, and continuous circular motion occurs. Human society believes that there must be a field of free exchange and communication. However, this field is not spaced. Einstein appears to have mistakenly interpreted fluctuations in fields as the warping of space. The law of universal gravitation views space in a flat, two-dimensional sense, while general relativity views the universe in a linear, one-dimensional sense. Einstein's general theory of relativity states that matter's mass warps space, and matter moves along this warped space. This means that matter moves in a straight line, while space accelerates. However, this contradicts the way matter absorbs and expends energy. This appears to be a misinterpretation of matter's orbital motion, as dictated by the law of constant area velocity, as moving in a curved motion due to the warping of space. In the microscopic world, matter can maximize its speed as its size increases. But this is not due to spacetime. Instead, according to the law of constant area or volume, velocity can be maximized when volume is minimized. In other words, the law of constant area or volume, velocity appears to apply equally in both the microscopic and macroscopic worlds. The motion patterns of artificially created substances ignore this field, resulting in single-shot movements or shutdowns. Airplanes and automobiles, for example, end in single-shot motion.